Hi, this is Concrete Charlie. Thank you for tuning in to Ask Concrete Charlie. When we ran out of time last week, we had read an email from Marianne. Marianne wondered how she could tell whether she had interior or exterior drain tile. Hey Tim, you look excited to be here today. Why don't you take a stab at this one?
Sure. The easiest way to tell is by looking inside the sump pit to see where the drain tile comes in. If the tile runs parallel to the wall, it's most likely interior. If it comes in perpendicular to the wall, it's exterior drain tile.
You know, I've seen drain tile, though, that comes in underneath the footing in different locations where there's window wells. You know, this can be deceiving when you're looking inside the pit, because in the pit, you see the existence of interior tile, but that same tile can be collecting and routing the water from the window wells, too.
If the window well drains are being brought in individually to the interior drain tile, you need several void areas under the footing for those drains to connect to the inside tile.
Exactly. Therein lies the potential problem with that configuration. However, our purpose here has been to answer the question how to determine whether basement drain tile is interior or exterior, and you nailed it, Tim. Look in the pit and see if it's parallel or perpendicular to the wall. Speaking of drain tile and seepage control in general, I think it's important to explain the difference between drain tile as a part of construction and drain tile as a waterproofing repair. Now, builders loop drain tile around the footing and connect it to a sump before they backfill. This collects water at the footing to help prevent water accumulation under the building. Even though it may or may not be necessary, it's cheap to do while building. And it's another preventative course of action. We've learned over the last couple of weeks that drainage as a waterproofing method is used to scare and oversell homeowners when they're the most vulnerable. Most seepage problems can be corrected with repairs that cost much less than drain tile installation. Sometimes those repairs can be as little as 5% the cost.
As long as I've known you, you've been asking customers to be sure they need drain tile before they buy repairs they don't need. I listened to the beginning of last week's show on YouTube and could not believe the amount of money that has been overspent on waterproofing repairs.
Well, my friend, the times are changing. The competition realizes that their credibility is at stake now, and homeowners are sensitive to costs more than ever. Why do you think they're starting to advertise crack repairs?
Well, I'm sure they're worried about credibility after years of overselling or now being exposed.
Well, see, here's their dilemma. Their whole business model has been to sell a one-size-fits-all repair. And that it does effectively waterproof, but in most cases, it's far more than the homeowner needed. Now, they have to focus on the actual source of seepage problems without the decades of individual repair experience that is necessary.
What, you mean the estimators are actually going to have on-job experience?
You joke, but yes, they'll have to. How else can you have the ability to pinpoint the causes of seepage if you haven't been exposed to all of the different conditions on the job? It's going to be a heck of a learning curve. Plus, think about all of the ways water can enter a building. There are repair methods to address all of these sources, but these drain tile guys have never installed them.
Well, how are they going to be able to adapt then?
Well, I'm sure they'll figure it out on the fly. The important thing is, homeowners will now be able to compare apples to apples and not second-guess themselves when they're looking at several proposals for work.
Well, don't you think price will become a deciding factor for the homeowners?
Well, don't kid yourself. Price is always a big part of the decision process. But don't sell homeowners short either. Whoever explains the repairs needed in a clear and concise manner and in a way that homeowners understand and believe in will not only earn their respect, but will also earn the job.
Well, you said something a minute ago about all the other ways water can seep in and the different ways to address them. Don't you think we ought to go into those a little bit?
Well, as a matter of fact, I do. In addition to answering emails, we're going to touch on one every week now that we're entering the fall rainy season.
Well, it's a great idea. You might want to go over some basic things the homeowners can do to help keep the water out of their basements.
Absolutely. Keeping their gutters clean and downspouts dumping at least 5 feet away from the foundation is the easiest way to start. We'll cover more of those tips too. You know, we've covered a lot this week, and we've laid the groundwork for some exciting shows to come. As we get into the fall, I'd even like to include some job site footage when we make some of these waterproofing repairs, so homeowners can visualize applications that may be proposed to them.
Well, seeing it done can really make a big difference.
Oh, you bet. Well, Tim, as always, it's been a slice.
Well, it's been a lot of fun.
We'll be back next week. Don't forget to send your emails with your questions and stories to charlie@concretecharlie.com. Go to my website, www.concretecharlie.com. You can see the videos on my channel at youtube.com/TheConcreteCharlie. Every podcast episode will be uploaded to YouTube, so if you don't have a video MP3 player, you can still see any video we include with our show. Thanks again for tuning in, and don't forget, if you don't ask Concrete Charlie, you probably won't get the right answer.
Hard working man.